couple things of importance. One, Everett is undoubtedly the #1 football team in the state, if not in the region. Two, Billerica's Nick Laspada knows a little bit about playing superhero, as you'll see in this episode later on. It's week 7 of the high school football season, and this episode of The Huddle is a bit squeamish. So if you have a weak stomach, get out now. I'm Zuri. Let's watch some highlights. In what can be considered a clash of the Titans, #1 Everett hosted #3 BC High Saturday. Everett quarterback Jonathan DiBiaso helped lead the charge. Here, he throws a 64-yard bomb to Jalen McRae. He also ran for 2 touchdowns. Last year's Catholic Conference Offensive Player of the Year, Preston Cooper, ran for 161 yards and this 58-yard touchdown against the Crimson Tide. But unfortunately for the Eagles, he suffered a gruesome ankle injury. I told you this episode wasn't for the squeamish. Everett held on to beat BC High 35-21. In Haverhill, the Hillies hosted the Billerica Indians, and this one delved into overtime. Haverhill's Blaine Joa caught an 8-yard pass from Tommy Morgan as the Hillies scored first in the first OT. After a failed 2-point conversion, Billerica's Nicholas Spada showed off his legs in this 10-yard touchdown run to tie the game. The Indians failed on their 2-point attempt too, but they came right back in the second overtime. Spada hit Willie Ricard on a pass that brought Billerica down to the 3. Spada followed up with a 3-yard touchdown run, the second on the night, as Billerica held on to beat Haverhill 28-20. In the city, South Boston's James Toll breaks loose against Burt for this 78-yard run. He scored twice on 2 2-point conversions for South Boston. Pernell Davis walked in this 9-yard touchdown as South Boston improved to 3-4 with a 24-14 win over Burt. In other top games, Melrose beat previously undefeated Watertown 35-7. Brian Reel threw 1 touchdown and ran for 3 more to lead Melrose. Sophomore quarterback Ryan Charter helped Needham topple Walpole 31-22. He threw 3 touchdowns in his first start. And in a non-league matchup, Bridgewater Raynham outlasted Zavarian 28-22 in double overtime on the road. Nick Schlass ran for 161 yards and 2 touchdowns for BR. Boston Globe High School sports editor Bob Holmes is now here with me. We're going to talk real quick just about this last week. I know we thought the biggest game of the week was BC High Everett, and that didn't turn out to be the case. Bob, what was the biggest game?
I think it had to be Billerica's double overtime win over Haverhill that keeps the Indians alive for the Merrimack Valley Conference title.
I mean, and on top of that, you get to see another superhero performance from Nick Laspada, right?
Yeah, he's incredible. 2 touchdowns in overtime, that was the difference.
Big game, big time. Moving on, any thoughts on BC High's Preston Cooper injury? I mean, this is got to be heartbreaking for the Eagles. He was the Catholic Conference Offensive Player of the Year last year, 15 touchdowns so far.
A huge loss for them, and especially overall in their pursuit of a playoff berth. That league is so well balanced. I'm not sure how they're going to rebound from his loss.
Okay. Well, looking ahead now at Week 8, we are our game of the week actually should be an actual delight. We got number 17 Natick going to play number 13 Needham, and there are a few athletes of note here.
Yeah, Needham, you just need to know one name. Riley, Mark, and Ian are both in the top 10 in scoring in Division I. And wouldn't you know, Natick has another Flutie. Troy Flutie, a sophomore, having a great year. And he's got a freshman wide receiver who just turned 15, Brian Dunlop. He has 11 touchdown receptions this year.
So we got a super freshman, another Flutie, and a couple of Rileys.
Yeah, we're seeing, obviously.
Should be a great one. All right, that should do it for this week in The Huddle. For past episodes of The Huddle, go to boston.com/huddle. For all these stories and more, go to boston.com/schools. I'm Zuri. He's Bob. We'll catch you next week where we'll possibly be talking about the playoffs and maybe even some Thanksgiving.